I'm Megan Bennett.
I'm Leslie Meyer.
And this is Gen X Women Are Sick of This Shit. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Megan.
How are you, my friend?
I'm in a tiny bit of hell. I'm terrible, honestly. Things have been much better. Terrible on a scale of like everybody's alive and my house is in one piece. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not
like
that
it could
terrible.
be worse.
But in like the context of just like a lot of dumb, hard things happening all at once, it's like a 10. A 10 on like the, do you know, what did we use in the 80s? DEF CON, when they would talk about like distance to war. Like if there's a DEF CON 5 and that's like, you know, everybody's dead, your house burnt down, your dog is legless, whatever. We're not at DEF CON 5. I'm sort of like at a DEF CON 2.
Oh,
like
okay. Okay.
Tipping into like a 3.
There's room for improvement.
Oh my God, yes.
On either end.
And it's complicated, right? Like it's difficult.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. And it's just like, what the fuck? I mean, what are you supposed to do? Just stop?
Right.
Do you stop living?
You can't do that.
No. You go, you whine and stomp your feet. I mean, you can. It helps for a minute.
Sure.
I don't want to.
Sure.
And then you just like fucking.
Dude, I say that every morning.
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
Panties back on and you walk out the door and you go do the next right thing, because what else are you going to do?
I'm probably 20 minutes late going to do whatever the next thing is because I don't want to. So there's a lot of there's a lot of whining and carrying on about it.
I don't want to.
So we're Gen X and this is what we do.
Yep. We do it. We do it. And it seems, I don't feel alone in it. Like peripherally, like it seems like this week in particular has been really like, I've had lots of conversations with people where like mechanical things are breaking down. I'm sure some brilliant astrological person could tell me all kinds of things, but like lots of car accidents. I didn't have a car accident, but I had something break. But then other people, like just things breaking, emails not working, like all this like tech interruption and just causing, you're just not, well, sometimes it's major if your car's totaled, right? Like major inconveniences, but also like perplexing. Like there's nothing you can do about it. So it's just sort of like, well.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's funny that you say it exactly like that, because I've noticed that shit just doesn't work in general. Like everything seems to be just a little bit broken. Like websites don't work the way they're supposed to.
Okay.
You know, like soda machines. It's weird shit, right? It's like, is there a solar flare that just fucks everything up?
Right.
Or, you know, what is it? And it's funny because Jeff, my husband, my sweet, sweet husband, calls it the fuckification of everything.
Right.
He's like, it's just the general fuckification
of everything.
Of everything.
I mean, that's what's happening right now, right? In the world. It's
I mean, it feels like that.
The fuffification. The fuckification of everything. Let's break it a little or a lot. And then just like go, oops.
Well, yeah, because, you know, when you break it just a little bit, it's super annoying because you're like, this used to work better. Like, why doesn't this particular thing work anymore the way that it used to?
Yes.
I mean, I've kind of given up on the flying car thing. We're not going to get one. We've got maybe autonomous driving cars. And
those things are pieces of shit.
Right. Like, because they don't work either.
No.
And yeah, so I've given up on that. But could I just have a vacuum cleaner work longer than like, I don't know, 2 months before it poops out on you?
Yes.
Right?
If we're going to talk about like taking things back, you know, like.
Yeah. Back to the good old days.
Let's make things out of metal.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
That we can take apart and repair with reasonable diagrams and no smart anything. Take all the smart out. I want a dumb vacuum. I want a dumb coffee maker. There's no reason for my coffee maker. It has a Bluetooth function. I don't know why. It doesn't control the coffee maker. I don't know what it's for. I didn't even buy a fancy coffee maker, but I had to hook it up to my phone. And I don't know why.
It's so stupid.
Like I replaced my Nespresso and I had to hook it up and it does nothing. You can change the temperature maybe? I don't know.
Understand.
Like,
I don't understand. Make America work again.
Thank you.
Just a little bit. Just work a little better.
Yes. I mean, we've got nowhere to go but up. I mean, we're still fucking tanking it right now. Like, let's be clear. We're not we're breaking it. And
yeah, it's got a ways to go before it's completely
and there
broke.
are layers to that. We could get to DEFCON 5. Really would prefer not. I feel like we're probably at a 2, 3, maybe a 4 some days. Maybe we're closer to a 5 behind the scenes than we know.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
Right? The rest of the world is probably just like so befuddled.
Well, the doomsday clock.
Oh, yeah.
We're as close as we've ever been to the doomsday clock to hitting midnight or whatever when everything goes to hell.
Well, false news. Fake news.
Sure.
Fake news, girl.
Yeah, someday we probably need to have a whole conversation about the fact that we don't have actual media anymore that isn't run by like Barry Weiss and the My Pillow fucker.
Oh yeah,
that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
What does that mean? I mean, you keep your eye on media stuff,
news.
and I do too a little bit. But it's the independent journalists that are coming out of all of this are fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad we have them, but it's pretty easy to shut them up because they're on platforms that are controlled by the other side, right? So
right, sure.
I shouldn't say the other side, but they're just controlled by people who don't value.
I mean, they're often on Meta related platforms, but there's Substack. Everybody's got to make a living too. Like you can't go be an independent journalist for free, so you got to pay. But if you want to know things, and I think thinking people look at news resources outside of the United States.
Oh, also, for sure,
right?
For sure.
And if you aren't, dive in, just go explore.
I mean, I don't know what I would do without crooked media and, Pod Save America and, Pod Save the World and Hysteria and those, I love them. That's how I get news. Oh, and The Daily Show.
Well, yes. And then we watched Dear Stephen Colbert, Just Be Smart and Delightful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I listened to Jessica Yellen and Under the Desk News. News Not Noise is Jessica, and then V has Under the Desk News. Both of them are great. And I've been listening to Aaron Parnas recently.
Okay.
Have you followed his stuff? He's been like balls to the wall with, well, that's maybe not the right thing to say, with the Epstein files. Oops. But like relentless in unpacking that stuff and summarizing it so that we don't have to necessarily subject ourselves to every single page. So they're just great people.
Helpful. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, oh my God. Well, we'll have to break all that shit down at some point because talk about the fuckification of everything. That would be a big piece of it.
For certain. Huge. It's almost like,
What? It's almost like what?
I was going to give you a segue, but then we'd have to go backwards. So I was going to say, it's almost like there's a culture war going on.
It's true. Yes. And I don't have anything else to say to that other than yes.
Yes.
There is.
And maybe we'll talk about that later. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should.
Maybe.
I think we should.
But I'm
sorry. I just wanted to say too, I am sorry that things are shitty and I hope that things do get better because you can't have an extended period of time that sucks to a degree where you are at DEFCON 3. That's a lot.
It's expensive to be there
for
too.
Sure.
I just think money makes this shit. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Part of DEF CON 3, this is funny, and I'll just share it because somebody else is having this experience. Our neighbors texted us a picture Tuesday as I was watching my car be towed away with a little red, it circled something in red on it. And our dear neighbor said, "There are squirrels going in here on your house." And I said, "Thank you. Thank you very much."
Thank you. Thanks, neighbors.
And that's kind of what, like, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a weekend of wildlife, a Saturday of wildlife removal happening at our home. Pretty excited.
Well, please don't bring them to my house because my sweet neighbor who I adore is way into hand feeding the wildlife.
Don't.
And so all the squirrels think that if I leave my back door open for a hot second, they're like, "Hey, are you a hand feeder too? What you got in there?" Boy, would they be surprised when my dog comes tearing out after them.
Right? I blame all those fucking content creators who are like, "Oh, look at that cute. I'm going to make a friend, a squirrel. Let me give him a peanut." You know where that squirrel's going to be? In your fucking house.
Up your butt.
With a coconut. Leave him outside. You were going to say a thing. You were transitioning us someplace else.
I don't know. Oh, I was going to say that we should probably talk about people who have died of late. And you had somebody that of note.
Right.
In February.
We were like, who's died? And I was like, I don't even know. I haven't even been able to pay attention, but I did remember. And then you reminded me that Robert Duvall died. And though Robert Duvall is not a Gen Xer, Robert Duvall's roles were a part of our adolescence.
Yes.
And obviously he continued to make films. I think his last listed film was like 1922. 1922. That is a lie. How about we go forward? What year is this? 2022.
It is 2026 right now. Yeah. I don't think he was even born in 1922.
Nope, not at all. I think he was born in the 50s.
Yeah. No, his first role, I think, was he did some theater in the 50s.
Oh, brilliant.
So I think he was probably
something other than his discography.
Yeah, he was probably,
oh my God.
I'm going to
guess,
no words. Born in like the late 30s.
Okay.
That's my guess. I guess I could pull up and see like when he was born. He was born 1931.
There you go.
San Diego. He died at the age of 95.
Yes.
On February 15th. So
Aww.
A long career. He worked in theater and movies from 1952 to 2022.
There you go. I knew 1950 something was a part of that story.
Something.
And 1922.
Right. He was married 4 times. He was in the Army at one point from 1953 to 1954. That's 1 year, kids. But, that's enough to know how things work when you get to star in the movie version of MASH.
Exactly. So, and he might have been, could have been January to December, like almost 2 years. Somewhere
could have
in
been,
there.
Yeah. Could have been.
Could have been. Very recognizable actor from the 80s. For me, I remember him in The Natural. I really enjoyed that movie. He was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I did not know this.
Love that movie.
Such a great movie. Until right this second, I was like, what? Get out.
Yeah, now I have to think about that because that was Donald Sutherland, yes?
Huh?
Wasn't Donald Sutherland
for Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yeah.
Yes. But he was uncredited in that movie. He was the priest on the
that's
swing.
Wild.
I was like,
that's wild.
I would never have associated him with that at all. And there's a reason why. Apocalypse Now. Do you remember watching that movie in the 80s for sure?
So I think I've only watched a fraction of that movie. I think that was one that somebody had a videotape of and I watched a little bit and then I was like, I'm not entirely sure that war movies are my jam.
Not my thing.
So not my thing. I did, however, enjoy The Godfather.
Yes.
And he was in that.
Yep.
So
yes, was in that. And I don't know if you were into this movie in 1990, but Days of Thunder, the Tom Cruise race car
did he
movie.
play? Yeah, he was like his coach or something.
Yeah.
If a
Nicole
race car
Kidman
driver
was
can
in
have
it.
a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All the things. But I didn't tell you the story because I was like, this is a one sentence story and it will be funny for like a half a second. I remember Robert Duvall from watching Lonesome Dove, the TV miniseries, which is a topic that we've thought about talking about many times with the TV miniseries.
Yes.
Zzzz.
Yeah.
And then I never remember that. For some reason, we would gather the theater kids and we would go over to someone's house. I don't remember whose house. We were all in the basement and we were obsessed with watching Lonesome Dove together. So it must have been on a weekend, like maybe a Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know. Obsessed.
Yeah, I don't.
Because of the actors, because of the acting. And then I don't know who was in it, but there is this quote. We would call it lonesome poker because they use the word poking as a euphemism for sex all the time.
Really?
They talk about giving her a poke or getting a poke or whatever. And so there are women, working girls in different in different parts of the movie. And I just remember this. I don't know who it was. I'll have to find it again. It doesn't matter. But the line was from this young girl who was upset about someone she was interested in, her man. I don't know. But the line was, he won't poke me or nothing. And we all lost our fucking minds laughing so hard because she was complaining about, I think, as a working girl, not getting sex from someone who maybe was like, took a shine to her. But she was like, if you don't want to have sex with me, what is going on? Like, I don't understand.
Right. I don't understand this.
Being
this
valued
relationship
for not just sex with me. But oh my God, we thought that was amazing.
Poke me.
Poke me was basically what she was saying. Yes, it was amazing.
That is absurd. And I love it. And I'm sure somebody out there who is listening to this is like, oh my God, yes.
I remember that. I thought that didn't happen. Yeah, it was great. So there you go. This is what I remember about Robert Duvall.
I think that's funny. I think I was looking at the awards that he won over the course of his career, and Academy Award, a BAFTA, 4 Golden Globes, 2 Primetime Emmys, and a SAG.
Wow.
So really he was what, like a Tony away from the Ultimatum?
Yep.
That's pretty wild. Somebody should have just like gave him a role on Broadway or something real quick.
Right. Just like a bit part so we can get it.
Right. Get that Tony.
I was just looking at his 2022 film, The Pale Blue Eye, and I actually watched that. I remember watching it and I don't remember him being in it, but that doesn't mean anything. Christian Bale is the lead in that. And I just don't have like a specific memory of the part that he played in it, but it was a great movie.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. He was Jean Pepe. There we go.
He will be missed. And I know that there was just a ton of people in the arts who kind of gave tribute to him and just said what a lovely person he was. And he was just such a great actor. He was like an actor's actor, right? Yeah. He was like the person who everybody wanted to act with because there's just that, you and I are both in theater and theater people. And so, if you've never done it before, there are the people that you want to be on stage with because they're gracious and fabulous and they're supportive of you. And like, they are helping you with your lines as much as you are helping them with their lines.
You're all on the same team.
100%. And like, I guess he was very much on that team, on everybody's team, which is probably why he made such great work.
Yeah, that's cool. I love to hear that. So there we go. I guess who died this week is like, who do we remember that died this week?
Well, we can, we've got another couple. The next episode, I know we've got some other people we could talk about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. And we just talked about this at the beginning. I didn't realize until today that he played Boo Radley in the film version of To Kill a Mockingbird, which
that's awesome.
Everyone remembers with Gregory Peck. And then he was in the film version of MASH, which we mentioned as well. But that To Kill a Mockingbird film, I definitely remember watching that as a young, like elementary school. As a young person.
For sure.
So good. Where do we go from here?
Well, let's take a break, take a stretch.
Okay.
And we'll come back and we're going to talk a little bit about some shit that's in the news right now that will sound very familiar.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Nothing's new.
Gen X Women Are Sick of the Shit is supported by Lilas, Love You Like a Sis, a Gen X women's social club.
What's Lilas, Megan?
Lilas is our off-platform, off the Books of Faces, off all of the other traditional social media. It is our space and place for Gen X women to come together, have conversations, meet each other. It's a social club.
It is a social club. It's a membership-based club. Memberships are $10 a month. That does help support us in growing the platform. We purchased a platform that would host a network of women so that you could come together and meet each other in real time.
In a safer space, right, than a traditional social media platform, and a much more personal space. So what do we do there, Leslie?
We host movie nights where we live stream some of our favorites as they are available to us for group watches of films from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We host a space for a monthly book club. We host
trivia nights
once a month. We have a live text chat.
4 prizes even.
4 prizes. That's true.
Yeah.
The space is able to host like weekly text chats so that you can kind of check in real time with people. I would say the critical difference between kind of what this space is and any other social media space that I've experienced is that it is active. You will have to engage in it or be engaged in it by other people. So it's not like a passive consumption thing. It's like making connections.
Yep. And if that's what you're looking for, the opportunity to meet other people, to find people who are maybe in the same similar spaces as you are.
Like-minded, same time phase of life, navigating all of those transitions.
Then this might be the right place for you. So check out Lilas. You can learn more about it at genxwomenpod.com.
All right. So, Leslie, what I wanted to do today was I wanted to talk about something that I think a whole bunch of Gen Xers like us probably didn't fully understand when we were kids, but it was shit that was totally happening. We were young and kind of dumb and focused on being kids.
And not on social media all the time.
Right. So, and probably not sitting watching the news all the time because why would we?
And the news was only on a couple times a day.
Right. So that is that there was and now is again this culture war around public education.
Oh, holy shit. Yes.
So while we were growing up in the 70s and 80s, there was a huge political fight that was happening over what kids would be or should be taught in school.
Okay.
Bonkers. Yeah.
I don't fully. Okay. Orient me in time. We were at school. We were how old at this time? Like, this was elementary school times when we were doing these things. Okay. Like 70s?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were thinking about math tests and locker combinations. I didn't have lockers, but locker combinations.
Yeah.
And we weren't really thinking about what was happening in the world in terms of education.
Exactly. That wasn't our jam. We had no idea that, our parents were fighting, political battles over classrooms that we were currently, sitting in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but the truth is that modern education culture really started taking shape around the late 1970s.
Okay.
And that was basically because of the creation of the Department of Education, which happened in 1979. And that was the fabulous, lovely Jimmy Carter who actually created that department.
He was the best of us. Oh my
for sure.
gosh. So I was 6 years old. So at the time I was 6 years old, we didn't have, or when I was turning 6, we didn't have a Department of Education. It is take my age and subtract 6, whatever. It's 46 years old or something like that. I can't do math like that while I'm talking. But before that, the education policy was just sort of scattered across different federal agencies.
Right. Yeah, for sure. The Department of Education was kind of created to coordinate federal education programs across, all kinds of different places.
Okay.
Because they were there and it was put in place to really enforce civil rights and civil rights laws in schools.
Okay.
So, that had to, and I'm going to quote my grandmother here, but that had to totally stick in the craw of a lot of Republicans because, we're talking about civil rights, and that's clearly not something that they really wanted to talk about a whole lot. Still don't. Those protections were in place, and they were preventing things like, discrimination based on race, based on disabilities, based on, gender in education.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much from the moment that the Department of Education was created, it became this crazy political target for everybody, right? Everybody's going to have an opinion on that.
So things that require accountability and don't allow you to discriminate. Fuck those things.
We don't need that anymore,
What do you mean? I'm here to discriminate on purpose. And you aren't going to tell me that I can't. And this is where the culture wars really begin. I guess in the late 70s and the early 80s, conservative religious activists started organizing politically around the idea. Same thing with abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Was not an issue.
Nope.
Until yes. Mm-hmm. You're all being manipulated. Started organizing politically around the idea that public schools were undermining traditional values like child abuse. One of the biggest organizations, this is my not so subtle color commentary.
Sure,
one of the biggest organizations pushing that message was the moral majority. This, you can tell I'm tired. Mm-hmm. The moral majority. Moral majority founded in 1979 by televangelist. That's a multi-syllable word. I'm going to be careful. Jerry Falwell.
Oh, rest in hell. Yeah. Grift much.
Mm-hmm.
So the argument, at the time, by people like Jerry Falwell.
We don't want to talk about him. Not really.
You really don't. I feel like if you say his name 3 times, he'll show up, kind of Beetlejuicy, right? So maybe we don't mention that name again. But he and his ilk really thought that schools were too secular. They were too liberal. They were disconnected from the traditional, and I'm using my quotation fingers.
Oh yeah, big quote fingers.
Those traditional American values.
Mm-hmm.
So their goal was to mobilize voters around these big education issues. They wanted prayer in schools. They didn't want us to learn about evolution, right? They wanted all the creationism bullshit. They didn't want sex education, like can't have that.
No.
And they wanted to get rid of books, certain books from school libraries.
What? They wanted to ban books?
Of course. Oh, everyone loves banning books.
That's ridiculous.
I find this all so interesting because I feel like this is about, and I know it is, this is the same time when women were starting to work more outside of the home and they were going to offices, you know, they were all like Terry Garr and Mr. Mom. Like they were, you know, they were doing, and we're going to have to dive deeper on all that shit at some point. But I feel like this was like a snap reaction to how do you get women back into the home? You know, we got to stop this shit. We can't have these women out there, you know, having these fancy ideas. And I feel like all of this kind of works together, right? Like,
right. You can create all kinds of moral panic without actually anything happening, just, you know, based on fears. I mean, women were barely in jobs, you know, like barely. Some women, like latchkey kids were still in the 80s. We're just like barely getting out there. When the reality is many women had to work full-time jobs for a very long time to fill in for perhaps people who weren't working. I don't know why I'm like coding my own lived experience, but like my grandma, like, they all had to work because the guys were just like gone.
Yeah. The dudes were gone.
Whatever.
Husbands walked out on women all the time and they had to like, somebody's got to bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan.
Right.
I mean, so I just feel like that is, it is so, it's just not believable to me that anybody really gave a shit about like this moral yada, 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 right?
Yes.
Like, I just don't think anybody really gave a shit. I feel like there were layers upon layers of reasons why, and none of it was, it wasn't godly.
No.
Like, I refuse to believe that.
No, not at all. I mean, we're kind of going, this is a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I'm going to come right back. Like, you could go back hundreds and every century throughout history and see a return to an organized church for control of the masses with the same song and dance. Don't teach people to read.
Right. They'll get fancy ideas.
You know what I mean? Like, if anybody can read the Bible, what then?
Right.
And it's
for sure
always about the control of the populace, the majority of the populace, for the benefit of the few.
Yep.
For the financial benefit of the few.
To dig a little farther deeper into your hole that you are digging.
Yeah, let's go.
That's why the Catholic Church did everything in Latin. Like, people didn't speak Latin, right? Like, the only people who knew how to speak it were the priests. And so they were telling you what the Bible said and interpreting what the Bible said the way they wanted to. And that is a form of control.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I'm just, Yes,
and
I took 8 years of Latin.
And look at you today.
Look at me today. But in the context, just as you saying that, when I think about the kind of education that I experienced in middle school, like went to a Montessori school. And so if you connect Latin to like rebellion, like if you learn to read and speak Latin, then you can learn to read and interpret the Bible on your own. I kind of want to imagine that my Latin was a big fuck you. Middle fingers, kids. Learn a dead language.
Fuck you. Right. A big fuck you that way. And also, you could then turn around and read the riveting things that Julius Caesar had to say, because
in their original texts.
That guy was a storyteller.
Lingua Latina book. It was awesome. Okay. So what are we talking about? Prayer. Well, yeah, prayer in school. That got us all there. Like all these things, prayer in school, teaching evolution, sex education. These were not abstract political ideas.
No.
They were obviously happening in real classrooms in the 80s. I kind of remember this. Several states actually tried to require schools to teach creation science alongside evolution. This is like, I mean, this is continued. Like, this is even when my kids were in school. Like, why aren't we teaching like creationism? And I'm like, because it's pretend.
It ain't science.
That we can teach that in interpretive literature classes, but perhaps not, believe away.
That's what Sunday school's for, kids.
Exactly. Yeah. And you go there. There were court cases about it. There was one in Arkansas in 1982. So I was 9. I didn't care. And another went all the way to the Supreme Court in 1987. And that one, maybe I have some like shreds of memory of, but I bet people listening will remember that.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So, here we are sitting in the classroom. We're learning about dinosaurs. We're learning about fossils. And they're literally having court cases at the same time about whether we should ever be taught about dinosaurs and fossils and whether, people rode dinosaurs.
I mean, I always wanted to ride a dinosaur. And then we made Jurassic.
What was that book?
What
was that book? That was Danny the dinosaur. You remember that?
Okay. And then we made Jurassic Park. If only we could just keep it at that. But that wasn't the only issue. Through the 80s, there were big fights over textbooks. I do remember this, especially in states like Texas and California, where textbooks decisions affect students across the country. Parents groups were arguing over how American history was taught, whether or not racism should be discussed.
God forbid.
Some communities,
we don't talk about it.
Right? Shh, because if we don't talk about it, it surely doesn't happen.
Didn't happen.
I have so many things I could say. Some communities held public hearings, unsurprisingly, where parents read passages from textbooks that they objected to. I'm remembering like the Field of Dreams. You remember that scene with like Holly Hunter? And she's like, you had 2 50s and went straight on into the 70s. Because I don't remember in the 60s. She like goes off because this woman's going to try to like ban books.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. There it is.
It sounds a whole lot. It sounds a whole lot like how parents were fairly recently showing up and reading excerpts of books intended for students over 18 and insinuating that they were for kindergartners, which is like,
oh, for sure,
absolutely not true.
Right. But boy, that was that's a good clip for the evening news, right?
Like little shock and awe. And with the whole the textbook thing, we're not even talking about all the money that's being made about all the Republican-owned corporations like Pearson Publishing, who are making billions of dollars. But that's not the subject of tonight.
No, I mean, this is deep enough, right? But so at the same time that all of this is going down, the Reagan administration was starting to push for, you'll love this, and I know that you remember this shit, was pushing for federal policies to encourage abstinence-only sex education. Because we all know how that works with like raging hormonal undeveloped brains, right? Like, just don't have sex. That'll fix it.
Because that's exactly how that works.
Literally, how many people did you? Well, you went to a very small school, so this is not a fair question.
And although we had sex education.
You did end up at North Central, right?
Yeah, but by then I was like, by the time I went to North Central, I was a sophomore. So,
but did you have like at that time? I mean, can you remember pregnant kids in high school?
I didn't have any friends who got pregnant. I mean, I went to school with almost 4,000 people.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that there absolutely were females who were pregnant at that time. But like, I wouldn't have thought much of it really had that been the case and not like in my direct friend group that I was aware of.
Yeah.
If anyone in my direct friend group had an abortion, we probably would not have talked about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except maybe to like your closest friends or something. Right. And even then, I don't know that would have been really discussed.
Yeah, but probably not. I do remember.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I remember that we at my high school, I do remember a couple of girls that were pregnant. And I don't mean any shame by this at all. I just think that it's it's like, I feel like we were at such a disadvantage because we really weren't learning because of this shit. We weren't really learning how to protect yourself, how to not get pregnant, right? Like,
yes,
it was all very, it all felt so sterilized and so not relevant to us. Like the sex education stuff was really, it's not teaching me nothing.
Yeah. And the education that you got, I mean, at least in my remembered experience, and like I was not in public school, so I don't know what that was like, but it was all in middle school. So it was very like biological.
Yeah.
And we did kind of learn about where babies came from and all that stuff, but we would not have been talking about safe sex at the time that we were getting that first round of sex education. And I don't remember anything after that. Probably in my psychology class, we talked about like relationships and stuff. And I'm sure it came up in there. But I don't remember anything specific, maybe in biology, maybe.
Did you guys at North Central, did you have the sex education class where they gave you a doll and you had to like take care of the doll and the doll would cry, and if you didn't take care of the doll right, then it would stay up all night and cry? And
yes, no.
You remember those?
I know what you're talking about, but we did not have that. And I will say, like, as a freshman, I went to Brebeuf, which is a Jesuit school. Yeah. So we sure as fuck did not have sex education.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, you did not.
So that was not happening there, which is pretty funny. Yeah.
I do
probably
think
got
we
most
had,
Go ahead.
I think we had the babies at my school. I think we did. I wasn't in that class, but
what would you have taken? Would it have been like in a home ec class?
Maybe.
And then,
I mean,
like,
it could
what
have
did
been
it
like
mean?
a sex ed thing, I guess. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Like, how would you have gotten, if it wasn't taught to everybody, how would you have gotten tracked into that class where you were being taught how to take care of a baby?
The only thing I could think is that it was like a pilot program thing of some sort, because for my whole life, I was in weird ass pilot programs anyway. Like I remember in elementary, has nothing to do with the subject, but I had, and I may have mentioned this before, but in elementary school, I was in a phonetics program.
Okay.
So like every book that I had, my math book, my history book, everything was written phonetically.
Okay.
So I can read very, very well and really fast. I can't spell for shit.
Oh,
like I literally,
sure.
Like everything is phonetic.
Right.
So, but it's weird pilot programs.
Make the translation then between the phonetics and then spelling.
No.
Because this
right. The good news is in a lot of cases, things are actually spelled phonetically in the English language. So
right.
It's okay. It's okay.
Unlike
it's
Welsh.
Right.
Totally.
Just put a W in there somewhere. It'll be fine.
Different brain. I do remember some fusses about kind of like banning books, but I don't know that like a ton of that like really took over in my high school. The American Library Association started tracking book challenges in 1982. Big year, 9.
Yeah.
Because so many complaints were coming from parents groups trying to like remove books from school.
So, and a lot of those books were things that, we were reading as
for
kids,
sure.
right?
Yes.
At least like junior high and high school, right? We were reading things like Catcher in the Rye.
Yes.
We were reading Slaughterhouse 5, right? You have to have some Vonnegut and of Mice, some Steinbeck, some Mice and Men, right? Those were on those banned book. And I think they probably still are.
Absolutely.
Lists.
Always. So, I mean, Gen X kids were like raised on and reading the books at the center of national controversies. And I mean, we didn't realize it. And I think like when it would be brought to our attention, it was just like, what the fuck? That's so stupid.
Right. Like why shouldn't I read of Mice and Men?
Right.
Right.
Where's like Slaughterhouse 5? Why shouldn't we know about the conditions of slaughterhouses? Oh, I don't know. Because then we have empathy for labor.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't have that. Whew.
People and their silly rights.
Can't have that. You don't need that anymore.
Nope. Clearly, that's what's happening.
Whoops.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the theme, when you distill all of this, what you and I know is that it is about control, controlling minds,
100%.
controlling the way people think, who gets to decide what students get to read, what do they have access to, the history that they learn, the science that they're taught. It's also about who makes the money out of all of those books.
Sure.
And an uneducated populace is a disempowered populace and an easily controllable populace.
Yeah. Yeah. So, right. Because whoever controls education, right, controls everything.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of what we're seeing now. That's sort of now we can kind of transition into the shit that's going on now, because we are pretty much in the next phase of those same battles. And just the scale seems like it's a lot bigger, right? It just feels bigger now.
It's so aggressive. I mean, in the 80s, I think, still had a lot of respect for local control in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, for good or ill, school boards and local communities were able to kind of make these decisions, but also that's where the arguments were happening and everything was not televised or streamed
online
or edited for the shock value. There weren't people getting up and doing performative propaganda, I guess I would say, you know, in front of school boards and things. I guess there's also the other side of that where people are saying things that are really true. And today they're happening nationally, all of that local control has just been wrested from local school boards and local governments and is being consolidated at a faster and faster level. And then nationally is where we're going. We're seeing organized activist groups trying to influence education policy across the country, like Moms for Liberty, which formed in 2021. And then there are chapters everywhere. And it's this misnomer because whose liberty and when?
Oh, it's that group, Moms for Liberty. Their campaigns are focusing on removing books from school libraries. They are actively working on how to restrict topics that people are talking about, like race and gender. And they're trying to control what is being discussed in the classroom. And, again, dumbing it all down, right? Controlling what's happening. And then they say that it's all because they're there for parental rights. Like a parent should have the right to yada, 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 right?
Sure.
We should have control over what our kids are learning in school. And to that, I say, go to Catholic school if you want to control that shit. You play in the public sphere, you get to go to public school, you learn what public school kids learn. Anyway,
and you've always had the ability to opt them out. We're not going to read that book.
I think so, right?
We're not going to celebrate that holiday. We're not going to, we don't
have to stand
that.
up and do the Pledge of Allegiance,
right?
If you
and then
don't want to.
Phased that out at some point.
I mean, the whole thing puts such crazy pressure on schools. It puts crazy pressure on teachers because imagine if you are the teacher in a classroom where you've got half the classroom wants to read Of Mice and Men and they're okay with it, and then the other half doesn't, and now you've got to try and balance that shit and teach two different things, and that's just it's fucking ludicrous. Anyway.
And it pushes really good teachers out of the field.
Yes. I have a dear friend who has been teaching for 24, 25 years. Is that right? Holy crap. Maybe longer now that I think about it. Anyway, she's done. She wants out so bad. And she's like, how do you take all of these years of experience as a teacher and do something else with it? So she's kind of going through all of that right now. And it's, she's fabulous. She's fabulous. And she's one of the people at her school who has been there the longest.
Yeah.
And, younger teachers learn from her and they're going to lose.
We need those mentors.
All of this, right. They're going to lose all of this fabulous teacher thought.
Yeah.
And it's going to walk out the door.
Absolutely. And there's just so many like political groups stepping into the arena, creating educational materials like PragerU, which is not a university. It's a media organization that produces short political videos. I don't know if you've watched any of them. They are.
No, everybody should totally hop on YouTube and watch some of the crap that they put out because it is unfucking real.
It's egregious.
It's so bad.
Egregious.
And what's awful, what's so terrible is they're really catchy, and they're terrifyingly simplified. Like they just dumb down everything.
Sure.
And then they're ideologically framed into different, these weird, not true, not authentic versions of American history. They're just like, but boy, are they catchy, and they got cute little cartoon characters doing shit. But they gloss over everything that like actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can't talk about slavery. We can't talk about systemic racism.
Mm-mm.
We can't talk about like, actual facts because we're so focused on these, again, with my quotation fingers, like alternative viewpoints. And it's frustrating. It is just
they're so focused on gaslighting and denial.
Yeah, like rewriting history, completely whitewashing it. That's
because
where
I'm uncomfortable with the history of our country. And now the fight is continuing to move into like federal policy. There were recent proposals to like shift programs out of the Department of Education and reduce the department's overall role. Of course, they've already fired like half the Department of Education or more.
Absolutely.
The argument is being made that education decisions should be handled by the states and local communities rather than the federal government, except for the fact that the federal government is profoundly influencing who gets access in those local communities and is trying to control elections and is suggesting that like publicly voted for positions, I don't know, like in the state of Indiana, should then suddenly become appointed positions. Or I don't know, maybe the state should take over the local public school organization. You know what I mean? Like
they're their little community. Don't worry, we gotcha. We'll take care of this.
Wolves in sheep's clothing.
You don't need to worry about this anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. And the problem too is when you start weakening the Department of Education the way that they are, then you are getting rid of that federal oversight of things that are truly important, like civil rights, like
equity.
Protections for people, equity. I mean, I know we can't say the initials DEI anymore because people lose their fucking minds. But like, who is going to be in charge of investigating discrimination complaints? Like nobody. Like it just doesn't exist anymore. So we're kind of playing in this weird Wild West space. And, and it was all put in place originally because people were denied equal access to education.
Yes.
And so we're just like, yoink, pull the rug right out. We don't need that anymore.
That is, that's so I'm actually thinking about that. Trying to see where we are. Okay, keep ourselves semi on track. So there was no like diversity, equity, and inclusion or Office of Civil Rights, but my grandmother worked her whole career. She was in civil service for the government. She was in Kentucky. She worked out at Fort Knox, and she independently was in charge of investigating discrimination complaints. That was her job. She was the highest graded female that she could have. It's the highest grade they would allow females to have in civil service. And it didn't have like a proper title at that time. So, but when someone would have to file a complaint, she would go and gather all the evidence. And it was all done by hand on paper with pencil. And she would type it all up. But that was towards like not the end of her career. That was sort of like what she did. It was a big part of her job, but it didn't have a name at that time. Like they had to have a way to have complaints happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in association with civil rights. But I'm just, as you were saying that, I was just like, oh, fuck yeah, of course. Like my framework is that, yes, we have rights, right? Like I was born and we got checking accounts. I mean, that's how it works. We were born and we were able to get mortgages and loans and everything's cool and we can vote and everything's good. But there was no framework for that for like my mom's younger years and my grandmother's life, of course. So
for
doing work that didn't exist.
But how freaking awesome that she did that, because like she was that one of those trailblazers, right? Who, because of the work that she did, it probably made putting the processes in place, you know, once the Department of Education was formed and was, you know, doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Like they had her work and work of people like her.
I guess that's really true.
To draw from.
Because if it was formed in 79, and I think she retired like in 84, 85, and they tried to get her to stay, and she was like, sorry, my daughter's dying. I can't, I'm retiring. I'm not going to do that. But when you think about the timing of that, like that's crazy. And she was assigned the work because it was considered unassignable to a male. It wasn't important enough to be done.
Wow, that's pretty telling
by
too,
a male.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And here I am. Here's like super ignorant me who would say, oh, they gave it to her because she's a woman and that would be an empathetic role. And she would.
It was like, we'll just give this. Yeah. Because they couldn't promote her any higher. She was not allowed to be promoted any higher because she was a female. You know what I mean? So like talk about figuring out how to live in a system that was absolutely structurally created to make sure that you never would be in a position that was elevated higher than a male. And she was a white woman in Kentucky, right? So
but
like
still.
with all the white skin privilege, except for the fact that she didn't have the privilege of a marriage. She did not have that privilege. And so just like it would literally say this grade and higher available to men only.
Yeah. No, I mean, we got a whole other episode we could talk about with that shit, because that happened. And, you know, if we ever actually got the Equal Rights Amendment, maybe it wouldn't happen anymore. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it still happens.
Because rights that can be invalidated aren't rights. They're privileges that are granted by the ruling class. And that is not freedom, folks.
No, ma'am.
So,
no, ma'am.
You know, like as we've been saying across the board, that's why this like is not just about policy. It's about whether public education remains a place where every student has the same rights and protections. Like, do we all belong here?
I mean, right. And I think that's the part that makes a lot of people, including us, like, and hopefully more people than not really angry about what's happening right now, because public schools and education and the right to education and the right to learning the truth about the world that we live in, it should belong to everybody. It should be something, it should be a natural, absolute right.
Absolutely.
In the same way that healthcare should be a right.
Yes.
You know? Like,
yes.
But education and schools are places where we're supposed to learn about history. We're supposed to learn about science. We're supposed to learn about literature. We're supposed to learn about the world that we live in like an honest and super authentic and open way. And here we are.
And then, so when like political movements, very highly special interest political movements start trying to control what students are allowed to learn, it's going to have serious consequences. And of course, we're saying it's affecting teachers, it's affecting students. It will affect the future of the country if it's allowed to continue.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, you know, the wild thing for me is that all of this was going down and in our lifetime.
Right. Yeah.
This was like, we were there for the beginning of the fights, whether we knew it or not. Right.
In our
aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. and we were way too young to understand the stakes of it.
Right.
But, it happened in our lifetime. It's fucking happening again, right?
And now we're here for the next round of battles. And we do know what's at stake.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to do anything? I think we do.
Like, education is just one of those important institutions in a democracy, and we're watching it get torn down. And I think that's truly why there is half of the country trying so hard to dismantle the Department of Education, to tear education down. That's how we learn about how the world works, right? And I don't know, like, we're going to end up erasing part of history, and that's what's so incredibly frustrating.
I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Because if we actually look at our history and examine things deeply, then we can only be more open, more inclusive, like be more accountable, take more responsibility. Like, you can't look away from the needs of the few in that instance when everyone kind of knows everything. Not to like misappropriate a Star Trek quote, but I kind of did.
Gene Roddenberry would be happy with you. It's fine.
I know. This was what we grew up seeing, right? This is the future. More, the whole universe, everyone, life forms everywhere. And there were like rules in place for interacting with those cultures, that were protective of those people. There was still some white colonialism in there. Yes, we know. But they did their best in terms of being progressive at that time. And it's certainly written very differently today. So the culture war in schools and overeducation never really ended. They've just changed shape. And now they're back in a way that feels like, more evil, quite honestly, like more insidious. It's because of all of the other technology that is available to support it.
Well, and it's like 3-card Monty too, right? We've got like the little shell, we got shell fucking games where it's like, over here, trans rights, put it over here, but don't look over here because over here we've actually got real problems, or like trans athletes in sports. Nope, don't look over there.
Yeah. We're going to talk about 0.04% of the population that just wants to live their fucking lives in peace. Just let me live my life in peace. And yet we will not release the Epstein files.
We've got to have a conversation too at some point about women in sports and the fucking bullshit around all the things, because I have so many things to talk about.
I'm just like the proximity, like why do you need, like, you just do you, girl, do you. Just
we need to
stay in your lane, swim your race, swim against yourself. Like some of this, like the seeds of these things, I will say, as a Gen Xer who played soccer and did all those shitty things and didn't always fucking get a trophy. Some of this is about moving to like, and everyone gets a gold star and everyone has to be successful in the exact same way. It was like this bastardization of what should have provided equity, but was like, oh, but my kid's feelings are hurt because he didn't get a trophy. Like sort of like parenting trends. It's all these cultural shifts where we overcompensate in one direction. And so then somebody says, well, I should win because, it's because I worked really hard, not because. So yes, there's a whole other rabbit hole we can go down, but
oh my God, so many.
That's enough for today.
That's enough for today. I think if you are still with us, thanks. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Appreciate you. It's probably been 45, 50 minutes.
I know, but here we are. And this is like, there are so many topics like this where we are just going through stuff that we should have fucking figured out.
Yes.
And fixed, right? Years ago. Like, why are we redoing this shit?
Yeah.
So we've got more things to talk about like this.
Can't stop on stuff.
All
right, my friend.
All right.
Thanks. Have a great night. It was good to talk.
You have been listening to Gen X Women Are Sick of This Shit. Hey, Megan.
Hey, Leslie.
What do people do if they want to find us? Well, we have a website that people can find us on, and that is genxwomenpod.com. We also have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram account as well. Mm-hmm. We have a YouTube account where we put YouTube shorts and other little tidbits up there. We have a TikTok account.
I don't talk the tick or tick the talk.
You don't tick the talk?
I
barely talk the tick, but I did put a TikTok up.
We're explaining the internet to people.
That's
okay, though.
It's great.
We need to know how the internet works. Can people buy merch?
They absolutely can. We have a merch store on the website itself, and we also have an Etsy store, too. So they're just pretty easy to find. It's just Gen X Women on Etsy.
And if you are listening to this podcast, presumably you found it somewhere. And while you're there, give us a review.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Throw some stars at us.
That'd be great. We'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Ooh, 5.
Maybe 10.
And also make sure that you are hitting subscribe so that you're notified whenever a new episode drops.
Most important.
We also have a 5 minutes of fame that I think we should tell people about, too.
Hell yes. We want to know your stories, your 5 minutes of fame stories. You can send those stories in on the website, or you can call 1-888-GEN-X-POD and leave your story for us, and we will play it live in our next episode.
Yep.
2 or 3.
We'll listen to it on a little red phone just like Batman.
That'd be cool. Let's get a bat phone.
A bat phone.
I think that's it.
I think you're right.